Hi, you may call me Vita. How are you? May you become greater than you are grateful. Welcome to Go Learning, the service affiliate of Word Lab Products and Services Limited, another Tavolution initiative. Having completed your live informal inventory and the MycoCare learning skills assessments, you are now going to demonstrate your learning style preference using this instrument. Yes, as you can see, there are 9 situations and 3 ways of responding. You are going to select the occasion in which you mostly have a particular response, which means when it comes to spelling, for example, say what mostly happens to you. If both of them happens to you or all of them happen to you, please select the one that is more dominant. So as you can see, we have when you spell, when you talk, when you concentrate, when you meet someone again, when you are contacting people on schoolwork. Let's say this is school related. When you read, when you're doing something new at school, for instance, when you're putting something together, and when you need help with a computer application. So consider these 9 situations when you're going to select the way in which you are likely to respond. Now it would be best to have a sheet of paper and you number the first column 1. So in your left margin, you may number it from 1 to 9. So for number 1, you say whatever your answer is. So if your response is mostly visual, you're going to write V. If your response is mostly auditory, you're going to write A. If your response is mostly kinesthetic tactile, you just write K. Visual is when you're responding mostly through your eyes. Auditory, it is about your ears and your capacity to hear or listen. And kinesthetic tactile, kinesthetic, it's about you being body smart. And tactile, you deal with touch. You're more inclined to be touching or using your hands, manipulating things using your fingers and palm, all of that. So you are going to select what mostly happens to you. Remember the code: V for visual, A for auditory, K for kinesthetic tactile. So if it is that you're answering anything, you write either V, A, or K. So let us look at the first situation. Spell. When it comes to spelling, do you try to see the word? Sometimes people try to see in their mind's eye, try to visualize it in their head, Or auditory. Do you sound out the word, or you use phonetic approach? That means you say bat, b, and you try to match sounds with symbols or the letters, yes? Or kinesthetic. Do you write the word down to find if it feels right? Sometimes you're accustomed to feeling or making the E at the final, the final symbol to be written. Or you see that you wrote it in the middle, but it don't feel right, Do you normally write it down to see if it feels right? And when it comes to the second situation now, so when you have done selecting what happens to you in the first situation, you either write V, A, or K. Then we're going on to number 2 now. Talk. When it comes to talking, do you sparingly but dislike listening for too long? Or that means, do you hardly talk and you don't like listening for too long? Or do you favor words, or you prefer words such as see, picture, and imagine? So that is the visual option. If this happened to you, write V. Auditory now. When it comes to talking, do you enjoy listening but you are impatient to talk? I can't wait for your turn. Do you use words such as hear, tune, and think? So if this happens to you when it comes to talking, write letter A if it mostly happens to you of all the 3 situations. Now the final situation, or the final response to situation talking, or the second situation, when it comes to talking, do you gesture and use expressive movements? Do you use words such as feel, touch, and hold? You use your body a lot. You clap, you dance, you move, you walk, you imitate people to demonstrate what you're saying or whatever. Right. The third situation. So write what happens to you, either V, A, or K. The third situation is when it comes to concentration, which is to give your undivided attention. And if you're unclear of the word concentrate, please consult your dictionary. So when it comes to concentration, do you become distracted by untidiness or movement? If this is the case, write V. Or A, write A if it is that you become distracted by sounds or noises. Or K, do you become distracted by the activity around you? So if this last situation, concentrate, if it is that you are distracted by activity around you, you write K. Going on to number 4 now. The fourth situation, let's say you have met someone and you are now meeting them again. Visual. Do you forget names but you remember the faces, or you remember where you met them? If this happened to you mostly, write V. Now, if you have met someone but you forget the faces but you remember the names, or you remember what you talked about, if this mostly happens to you, write A. And when it comes to meeting someone again, do you remember best what you did together? Now for the fifth situation, contact people. Let's say you're working on a school project. So your business is in school right now, okay? Do you prefer direct face-to-face or personal meetings? So if that is the case, you write V. If it is that you prefer the telephone or speaking to them, perhaps using another device or mode, not necessarily you have to see them, maybe messaging or something, you select A if this is the case for you. Let's say you are contacting them on a project or a group assignment the teacher gave you. Do you prefer to talk with them while you are walking or participating in an activity? Maybe you're cooking or you're